You ever wonder where most modern occultism or New Age teachings originate? How about the mystery schools, or the ones that don't want you to know these sacred teachings? Let's start with Thoth. He's the Egyptian deity of writing, wisdom, magic, the moon, and measurement. In the Heliopolitan cosmology, he's the scribe of the gods, the one who records the weighing of the heart in the Hall of Two Truths, where souls are judged against the feather of Ma'at. In the Hermopolitan tradition, he's a creator god, one of the Ogdoad, present at the moment of creation itself. His iconography, ibis-headed or baboon-headed, always holding a scribal palette. The ibis connection is significant. The bird's curved beak resembles a crescent moon, and Thoth is the lunar deity who governs the calendar, the measurement of time, and the organization of cosmic order. His two primary associations are Sia, divine perception/omniscience, and Hu, authoritative utterance, the idea that reality is organized through knowledge and speech. Words, in Thoth's cosmology, aren't descriptive. They're generative. Speaking the true name of a thing has direct ontological power over it. That's the seed of everything Hermetic that follows. When Greece colonized Egypt and the two cultures began synthesizing, Thoth merged with Hermes, the Greek messenger deity, god of boundaries, travel, thieves, and esoteric knowledge. The result was Hermes Trismegistus, Thrice-Great Hermes. The Thrice-Great epithet has multiple interpretations. The most common, greatest philosopher, greatest priest, greatest king. Another reading, master of the three realms, earth, sky, and underworld. A third, the three aspects of the world's wisdom, theology, astronomy/astrology, and alchemy. Hermes Trismegistus became the attributed author of a body of texts called the Corpus Hermeticum, a collection of 17 treatises composed in Greek, probably between 100 to 300 CE in Hellenistic Egypt. The corpus reads as a dialogue between Hermes Trismegistus and his students, covering the nature of God, creation, the soul, the cosmos, and the path to spiritual knowledge. For over 1,000 years, the Western world believed these texts were ancient, pre-Mosaic, pre-Platonic, written by an Egyptian sage who had received divine revelation directly. Renaissance scholars treated them as the oldest wisdom on earth, possibly contemporaneous with Moses or earlier. In 1614, the Swiss scholar Isaac Casaubon proved through philological analysis that the Corpus Hermeticum was written in the early centuries CE, not ancient Egyptian at all, but Greco-Roman philosophical writing in an Egyptian frame. That discovery should have ended Hermeticism's influence. Instead, it barely slowed it down. The Corpus Hermeticum and its associated texts, including the Emerald Tablet and the Asclepius, establish a cosmological and operational framework that became the foundation of Western esotericism for 2 millennia. As above, so below, the foundational axiom from the Emerald Tablet. The structure of the cosmos is fractal and self-similar across scales. What operates at the level of stars operates at the level of atoms. The human body mirrors the celestial arrangement. Understanding one level of reality grants operational knowledge of corresponding levels. This isn't metaphor in Hermetic thinking, it's a literal claim about physical correspondence. These are the 7 principles written by the 3 initiates in the Kybalion from 1908, claimed to be derived from Hermetic source material. Mentalism. The universe is mental in nature. Consciousness is the substrate of reality, not an epiphenomenon of matter. Correspondence. As above, so below. Every plane of existence mirrors every other. Vibration. Nothing is at rest. Everything moves, oscillates, vibrates. Polarity. All apparent opposites are the same thing at different poles of a continuum. Rhythm. Everything oscillates between poles in measurable cycles. Cause and effect. Nothing happens by chance. Every effect has a cause. Gender. Masculine and feminine principles operate on all planes of existence. Gnosis is the direct experiential knowledge of divine reality, as opposed to belief or intellectual assent. The Hermetic path isn't a doctrine you adopt, it's a practice of direct perception. The goal is nous, divine mind, accessed through contemplation, purification, and what the texts describe as a rebirth of consciousness. Then there's the soul's ascent, a cosmological map in which the soul, descending into physical incarnation, accumulates limiting qualities as it passes through the planetary spheres. The reverse journey, spiritual ascent, involves shedding these limitations layer by layer, returning to the divine unity at the source. This structure directly influenced Neoplatonism, Gnosticism, Kabbalah, and eventually Renaissance alchemy. Now let's talk about the Emerald Tablet, the most condensed and most cited Hermetic text. 13 lines, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, claims to contain the secret of the prima materia, the first substance from which all things are made, and the method of its transformation. The earliest confirmed Arabic version dates to the 6th or 7th century CE. It circulated through Islamic alchemical literature before being translated into Latin in the 12th century, where it became the foundational text of Western alchemy. Isaac Newton translated it. His personal copy survives in Cambridge's library with his annotations. Newton was deeply embedded in alchemical research. The Keynes MS collection of his alchemical notebooks runs to over 1 million words, more than his published scientific work. He believed the Emerald Tablet encoded a genuine physical process. Whether he ever cracked it is unknown. The key line: that which is below is like that which is above, and that which is above is like that which is below, to do the miracle of one thing. The transformation process described, dissolve, purify, recombine, maps onto both metallurgical alchemy and the soul's purification journey simultaneously. That dual operation, physical and spiritual in parallel, is the core of the Hermetic method. During the Renaissance, Cosimo de Medici funded Marsilio Ficino to translate the Corpus Hermeticum in 1463. Ficino stopped translating Plato, whom he'd been commissioned to translate, to do the Hermetic texts first, because everyone believed they were older and more important. Hermeticism became the intellectual framework of Renaissance humanism. Pico della Mirandola synthesized it with Kabbalah. Giordano Bruno built a Hermetic cosmology and got burned for it in 1600. By the early 17th century, Rosicrucian manifestos, Fama Fraternitatis 1614 and Confessio Fraternitatis 1615, described a secret brotherhood founded by Christian Rosenkreutz, possessing Hermetic alchemical knowledge. Whether the brotherhood existed or the manifestos were literary experiments, they catalyzed a Europe-wide movement. Francis Bacon's New Atlantis is Rosicrucian in structure. Then there's Freemasonry. The philosophical lodges of 18th century Freemasonry incorporated Hermetic symbolism throughout the all-seeing eye, the compass and square as above/below instruments, the Temple of Solomon as a physical embodiment of cosmic architecture. The Scottish Rite's higher degrees are explicitly Hermetic in their philosophical content. The Emerald Tablet is 13 lines long. It has been in continuous circulation for at least 1400 years. Whether that's convergence, coincidence, or something the Corpus Hermeticum was trying to tell us the entire time, that's the question nobody in mainstream science wants to ask out loud. Drop a comment. Newton's unpublished alchemical work runs to over 1 million words. The man who gave us classical mechanics spent his life on a 13-line tablet attributed to a god. That detail alone should be in every physics textbook. Next week on things that shouldn't exist. Cryptids. Not the folklore. The forensic evidence. Unidentified primate DNA from Sumatra. A 2016 peer-reviewed analysis of 1,237 thylacine sightings that statisticians couldn't explain away. And the Patterson-Gimlin film, 60 years of failed debunking attempts and a biomechanics analysis that still hasn't been resolved. Here's what the evidence actually shows. Subscribe. I'll see you there.